The Galactic Concorde's emblem pulsed on the massive holoscreen in the war chamber of Mars' Unified Command Center. Its luminescent silver and blue crest contrasted sharply with the room's darkened walls. General Elias Cade, a stoic figure with streaks of silver in his hair, stood at the head of the council table. His commanding presence filled the room, though the tension was palpable. "Transmission incoming," announced a young officer, her voice wavering. The feed shifted abruptly. A vast, alien coliseum appeared on the screen. Massive, glowing pillars towered over the audience, whose faces remained obscured by shadows. At the center stood three captive human children bound to pulsating energy restraints, their terrified expressions illuminated under harsh alien spotlights. A guttural, chilling voice filled the air. "Behold the cost of rebellion." Emerging onto the platform was High Arbiter Thalrex, a reptilian overlord adorned in ornate, crystalline armor. His golden, predatory eyes scanned the room with disdain. "For those who dare defy the Concorde," he hissed, "let this serve as your warning." Elias clenched his jaw as gasps erupted from the gathered officers. His closest advisor, Major Adira Voss, whispered, "They're showing this galaxy-wide." "Shut it off," Elias demanded. "We can't," the technician stammered. "They've locked into every network." On screen, Thalrex gestured, and one of the alien guards activated a lethal device. The first child screamed, a sound that pierced the soul of every viewer. Elias turned away from the screen, his fists trembling. "Enough." As the broadcast continued, Elias stormed into the adjacent strategy room. A team of elite operatives awaited him, their faces grim. Among them was Commander Kale Draven, renowned for his daring missions. Beside him were the stalwart Axel Hammer Torin, tech-savvy Liav Code Rhine, and the sharpshooter Ira Falcon Vren. "They've crossed the line," Elias said, his voice icy. "3 children executed for the galaxy to see." Draven's fists clenched. "We make them pay." Elias activated a 3D map of Concorde's central bastion on Avars 7. "This fortress houses their captives. We believe more humans are imprisoned there. Your mission is simple: infiltrate, extract survivors, and expose their atrocities." "Rules of engagement?" Hammer asked. "No mercy," Elias replied. "The galaxy needs to see the Concorde's true face." Draven locked eyes with him. "We won't fail." "Sure." Here's the extended version of Operation Shadowbreak written in American English with proper grammar. Eclipse glided silently through the infinite expanse of space. Its matte black surface made it nearly invisible. Inside, Draven and his team were preparing for the mission. Tension hung in the air, but their professionalism kept them focused. 2 minutes left, the pilot's voice echoed through the comms. Draven glanced around at his team. "Are we ready?" Hammer checked his plasma explosives and flashed a grin. "Ready and more than willing. Can't wait to teach those lizard-faced bastards the lesson." Liako Rhine, hunched over her tablet-like device, rolled her eyes. "As long as you don't blow everything up, we might stand a chance. Let's be strategic." Ira Falcon Vren, silently cleaning her rifle, turned to Draven. "This mission could be tougher than we think. Do we have an exit plan?" "Of course," Draven replied. "As always, if things go south, we improvise. For now, we stick to protocol. Quick and quiet." Hammer grunted. "Quiet's not really my style, but I'll manage." As the ship touched down on the dark surface of Avars 7, the team sprang into action. The ship settled next to a massive maintenance platform. The surface was cold, the faint starlight barely illuminating the grotesque features of the vast fortress complex. "Remember," Draven said, turning to his team, "we infiltrate, extract, and get out clean. If things go sideways, we torch everything. But our priority is the people." The team nodded in unison. The team moved swiftly from the platform to the complex. Code scanned the area with her device. "I've never seen technology like this," she muttered in surprise. "These systems are a kind of organic metal hybrid. The algorithms, it's almost like they're alive. Can you do anything with it? Draven asked. Of course, she said with a smirk. But it'll take a minute. Make it fast, Falcon said, shouldering her rifle. We need to get inside before anything else moves. After a few moments of frantic work, Code looked up. Got it. All the cameras and sensors in our line of sight are offline. We've got 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Hammer grumbled. That's cutting it close. 5 minutes is enough, Draven said. Move. The team advanced through the halls of the fortress, the air growing colder and the metal walls subtly vibrating. It felt like the building itself was alive. This place's energy. It's unsettling, Falcon remarked, scanning the environment. Don't worry about it, Hammer said, cracking his knuckles. We'll shake things up with a few explosions. The team reached the wing where the prisoners were held. The cells were dark, and the prisoners were desperate, some looking out at the team with a mixture of fear and hope. We're here to rescue you, Draven said, unlocking the nearest cell door. Code worked quickly to open the other cells. Give me a few more seconds. Just as the last cell door slid open, 6 reptilian soldiers appeared in the hallway ahead. Target acquired, Falcon said through her comms, peering through her scope. Take them out quietly, Draven ordered. Falcon fired, a muffled electric sound as one soldier dropped to the floor. But before the others could react, Hammer stepped forward and lobbed a plasma charge at the nearest wall. The resulting explosion reverberated through the corridor. That's my idea of a quiet kill, Hammer said with a grin as smoke filled the hallway. We've lost the element of surprise, Code said, looking frustrated. Now they know we're here. Too late to back out now, Draven replied. Plan B. Go loud and fast. Draven's team rushed down the hall to the next set of cells, where they found more prisoners, children, the elderly, and others, locked away in fear. We're getting you out of here, Draven said, unlocking another cell. Code connected her device to the building systems. I can open the rest, but we need protection. Leave it to me, Hammer said, raising his rifle. As the team moved through the corridors, they encountered more guards, and soon, a firefight broke out. Hammer dropped a few more explosives, creating a temporary barrier of smoke and fire. We're buying some time, Hammer said. Let's move, Draven said, guiding the prisoners toward the exit. As they neared the final block, more guards appeared, including the High Arbiter, Thalrex. Impressive, Thalrex said, his voice booming through the corridor. But your journey ends here. Draven turned to his team. Get the people to the ship. I'll handle this. No. We stick together, Falcon interjected, her tone firm. This is an order, Draven replied coldly. Thalrex and Draven faced off, the reptilian's golden eyes glowing ominously. The tension was palpable. Thalrex lunged first, his claws extended. Draven, quick on his feet, dodged and countered with a punch that barely grazed his foe. The two fought fiercely, exchanging blows and energy blasts. Draven moved with calculated precision, while Thalrex's reptilian strength was overwhelming. But Draven's resolve was unbreakable. With a well-placed strike, he knocked Thalrex to the ground. Your reign ends here, Draven muttered, activating a timed explosive on the fortress's core. The team sprinted toward the ship, the ground rumbling behind them as the fortress began to collapse. Eclipse lifted off just as a massive explosion tore through the facility, sending a shockwave through the surrounding landscape. Did we get everyone? Draven asked, glancing around at the rescued prisoners. Code quickly tallied the numbers. 10 more are still on board, but there are others we couldn't reach. We'll come back for them, Draven said, his gaze fixed on the planet below. For now, we've given them hope. As Eclipse sped away from Avarice 7, the remnants of the fortress burning behind them, Draven looked out at the stars. This was only the beginning. The mission had been a success, but the war was far from over. The corridors of the fortress seemed to stretch on forever, the walls pulsating with a strange, eerie hum. Draven's pulse raced as he led the team deeper into the heart of the complex. The sound of their boots echoed loudly in the silence. Behind him, the prisoners, elderly, young, and fragile, moved as quickly as they could. Code was keeping pace with the rest of the team, her device in hand, working furiously to disable any remaining security systems they might encounter. Code, Draven whispered, his voice cutting through the tension. How much longer until we can safely get everyone to the extraction point? I'm almost there, she replied, her eyes glued to the screen. Just a few more seconds to bypass their mainframe. We'll have a clear route soon. Make it quick, Draven urged, glancing over his shoulder to check on the prisoners. We're running out of time. From behind, the distant sound of alarms began to ring out, growing louder and more persistent. They know we're here, Falcon said, her tone grim as she kept a watchful eye over their rear. We knew this wasn't going to be easy, Draven muttered. We pushed forward. No turning back now. Code finally looked up from her device. We're in. The doors up ahead are unlocked, and I've disabled the security grid. But we've got company. A whole squad of reptilians is heading our way. They'll be here any minute. Draven's heart skipped a beat, but he forced himself to stay calm. Then we'll make our stand here. At least we've got a choke point, Hammer said, checking his plasma rifle. I'll cover the left flank. Good, Draven replied. Falcon, you're with me. We'll take the right. Code, get the prisoners to safety once the path is clear. Hammer, hold the line as long as you can. Understood, Falcon said with a nod. Let's move, Draven ordered. The first wave of reptilian soldiers appeared at the end of the hallway, their forms shadowy against the low light. They were massive, towering beings with armor that looked like it had been forged from living metal, their faces reptilian and their eyes glowing with a menacing, unnatural light. Here we go, Draven muttered, his hand steady on his weapon. He activated his plasma blade, the blue light humming as it ignited. Falcon stood next to him, her own weapon trained on the advancing soldiers. Ready when you are. Hammer took his position at the corner of the hallway, his rifle aimed and ready. They won't know what hit them, he grinned. The first soldier in the group lunged forward with a loud roar, swinging a massive blade in their direction. Take them down! Draven shouted. With a sharp movement, he lunged forward and met the reptilian head-on, his plasma blade cutting through the air with surgical precision. The soldier was quick, sidestepping his first attack, but Draven anticipated the move, pivoting sharply to strike at its flank. The blade hummed as it cleaved through armor, the soldier's screech reverberating off the walls as it collapsed. Falcon opened fire, her shots echoing down the hall as they struck another soldier square in the chest, sending it tumbling back. One down, 5 more to go, she called out. Meanwhile, Hammer was already in the thick of things, his rifle unleashing a barrage of explosive shots. Each explosion ripped through the air, sending reptilians flying in all directions. Now that's more like it, he yelled. The team was engaged in a fierce firefight. Reptilians closed in on them from all sides, each more determined than the last. Their bodies seemed to be made of a tough, armor-like material that absorbed most of the plasma shots, but they were not invincible. Stay focused, Draven barked as another soldier lunged at him, its claws extended. He sidestepped just in time, bringing his plasma blade up to cut through the soldier's side. The reptilian screeched in pain, but Draven's blade was already retracting as he made another slash toward the creature's neck. Hammer grunted as he tossed another explosive, the blast sending 2 more soldiers stumbling. We need to hurry this up, Draven. They're not slowing down. Draven nodded, his mind racing. Hold them off just a little longer. Code, how's the progress on the evacuation? I've got the first wave of prisoners moving to the extraction point, Code called out, her voice calm amidst the chaos. I'll be back for the rest once the path is clear. I can't hold them forever, Hammer warned, his rifle spitting rounds as another reptilian moved in on his position. We need a way out, and we need it now. The sound of more soldiers marching toward them echoed in the distance. They had to move fast, or the mission would fail. "We're almost there," Draven said, his voice filled with determination. "We've got this. Just a little more." Another group of reptilian soldiers appeared from the side hall. This time, they were accompanied by a massive figure, Thalrex, the High Arbiter. His golden eyes glowed menacingly, and his scaled armor shimmered like molten metal. His presence was like a storm, and the very air around him seemed to shift. "Draven," Thalrex's voice rumbled, the sound vibrating in Draven's chest. "You are brave, but you are foolish. You cannot defeat me, nor can you escape. This fortress will be your tomb." Draven didn't flinch. "You're wrong. This ends now." Thalrex's soldiers moved to surround them, and for a moment, Draven considered the odds. He was outnumbered. But he was not alone. His team had proven themselves capable time and time again. "Falcon, Hammer, fall back to the prisoners," Draven said, his voice steady despite the pressure. "I'll hold him off." "No," Falcon protested, her eyes burning with intensity. "We fight together. We survive together. We don't have time to argue," Draven said. "This is my fight. Get the prisoners out, now." Thalrex chuckled darkly. "You are brave, human. But bravery will not save you." With a roar, Thalrex charged, his massive blade raised high. Draven moved swiftly, sidestepping the initial strike. The reptilian's weapon scraped the floor, and Draven seized the opportunity to strike back. But Thalrex was too fast, his armored form blocking the blow with ease. The two clashed in a flurry of strikes and counterattacks, each blow shaking the ground beneath them. Draven was quick, his moves calculated and precise. But Thalrex's sheer strength and size made him a formidable opponent. "You are nothing but a gnat," Thalrex hissed. "You cannot defeat me." Draven gritted his teeth. "I don't need to defeat you. I just need to survive long enough." The battle raged on, but Draven's movements were becoming more calculated. He knew he had only moments before the rest of Thalrex's soldiers closed in. The reptilian was relentless, and despite his best efforts, Draven could feel his strength waning. Just as Thalrex prepared to strike a fatal blow, a burst of plasma fire struck his side. He roared in fury as the blast knocked him off balance. "Now, Draven!" Falcon's voice rang out, and Draven didn't hesitate. In a single, well-timed strike, Draven leaped forward, driving his plasma blade through Thalrex's chest. The High Arbiter let out one final, guttural scream before collapsing to the ground, his glowing eyes fading into darkness. The reptilian soldiers hesitated for a moment, their leader defeated. That moment of uncertainty was enough. "Fall back!" Draven shouted. "We're done here. Get the prisoners to the ship." Hammer's voice crackled through the comms. "I'll clear the rear. Move out." The team fought their way back toward the extraction point, with the prisoners in tow. The reptilian soldiers, now leaderless and disoriented, were no match for Draven and his team. They moved quickly, a well-coordinated force, as they reached the ship just in time. "Everyone aboard," Draven said, his voice tight. As Eclipse lifted off from the planet's surface, the explosion of the fortress's core erupted in the distance, the shockwave rattling the ship. The team didn't look back. They had completed their mission. Draven sat down in the command seat, his gaze fixed on the stars. "We did it. We survived." "But it's not over," Falcon said, her voice steady but filled with resolve. Draven turned to face her. "No. It's just beginning." The team exchanged determined glances. They had struck a blow against the reptilian empire, but there were still many battles to come. For now, though, they had won.